citizenship promotion. This is a big one. You may have read it on the OA, you may have not. You know, they said, Una Voz Unida is trying to register, you know, illegal immigrants to vote, to steal the vote, and to steal elections. Okay, that's not what Una Voz is about. We don't want. We're not trying to steal. You know, we are deputized registrars, and we can register people to vote. But you have to be an American. You have to be part of that process. If you're not, you know, we want to help someone become an American citizen and get to that point. But we're certainly not trying to steal a vote. You know, I know that there was some mention on a radio show in comparison, comparing us to ACORN, because all the problems that were going on with ACORN and President Obama, you know, because ACORN was a political action committee, so they were bringing this in, you know, how all these fake voter registration cards that were happening. So that's not, we know that that's illegal. If you ever have, every question that's been presented is on the website. There's a Q&A that you can click on there, and every question that's been asked, you'll find that answer there. So if you ever are curious. Citizen promotion is a form of education to the community of the importance of integrating oneself into the fabric of American society. And I say integrate, and I emphasize integrate, because anybody who knows me, there's a certain word that I do not like. I do not like, because I believe we can integrate into the political process. I don't believe that we have to assimilate into a process. There's a big difference between assimilating. Look it up, I won't even go into detail. Just look it up in the dictionary. Look up integrate and then look up assimilate. You'll see a very big difference. And then I'll leave it at that, and then y'all know where I'm going. When we promote citizenship, we promote access to a larger scope of privileges and services that are allotted to all American citizens. We see it, the way we see it, and I briefly mentioned this, new citizen to registered voter, and from registered voter to informed and active voter, and from informed and active voter to an outspoken advocate. That's what we want to see. So how do we do it? Distribute information on benefits of citizenship, citizen-related services, the act of voting, what that means, and that privilege that everyone has as Americans. Finally, voter engagement. This encompasses many activities such as voter registration, voter education, voter turnout. Big one, voter registration. A lot of people don't really understand what it takes to qualify to vote. You know, or they may think that they don't qualify, but in essence they really are. So getting them registered to vote and being part of the process. Voter education. Many people, and I know that the Odessa American, they do. Hello, how are you doing? Thank you for coming. This is Dr. Yolanda Salgado. Go ahead, please have a seat. Thank you for coming. Voter registration, voter education. We want to have a more educated voter base. We want them to know what's on the ballot. We want them to know who they are. If there's two candidates, we want them to know who the candidates are, what they stand for, what their beliefs are, not just a biased view of somebody. So we'll get that information to people. We'll get that out there. Another thing too is voter education. We want to know about our communities. We want to know every detail about each district. That's important because we want to know how many schools are in a certain district. We want to know how many parks are in a district. We want to know the makeup, the ethnic makeup of those things. When we know those things, we can utilize that knowledge to help individuals, you know, run for a particular political office in that area. So voter turnout. We want people to feel the importance of getting out there. We want to get them. One thing, you know, and my brother will remember this clearly, in 2008, we were bouncing back and forth all over all the different polling stations during the elections. And we were at Salinas, the Salinas Hall on Clements there, with our signs, everything, trying to get people to come in. People didn't even know there was an election going on. You know, we went to Blackshear. I think there was a total of maybe one person who showed up at the Blackshear voting poll. You know, we're trying, you know, what's going on? But then we go to Nimitz, and it looked like there was a big party going on over there. Everybody was walking into Nimitz. I think Nimitz wound up recording on that day over 400 votes, just at the Nimitz location. And I think Clements, the Clements location, Salinas Park, only had like 30 or 40 votes. So the election was definitely done during early voting. So we want to encourage people that get out and vote. And yes, it's a Saturday election, but we can do it. You can go out and, during early voting as well. So as a CBO, we want to come into contact with unregistered voters every day. And by engagement, we can reach out to infrequent and unregistered voters. We want to make sure that when we do voter engagement, that it's a nonpartisan message that encourages citizens, all citizens, to participate in the electoral process, providing education for voters and to help understand our political systems. And we want to ensure that every citizen knows their rights as Americans to vote. So you can see this is very brief. There's a whole lot more information on the website, so I encourage you to go to the website to really understand. It talks a little bit about our structure, and from there, but Una Nina seeks to fill a void that has been left out in our community for years. So by promoting civic participation, we can bring about change to the attitudes of indifference, and we can unite our community into one voice. So I thank you for listening to this presentation. I know y'all have lots of questions, and so before we go into the meeting, I give you the opportunity to ask me any questions that you might have about the organization, or before we start the meeting and take a brief recess before the meeting.